Caitlin Clark, let it be known, she does not like this Stephanie White offense, how these players in the WNBA don't even know where to move or how to move or where to cut. And that leads to a lot of her turnovers. And she also states how much she misses Lisa Bluder. And I think all of us Indiana Fever Caitlin Clark fans prefer if Lisa Bluder was the head coach of the Indiana.
Is the WNBA's greatest rookie sensation, Caitlin Clark, already at war with her own coach? Imagine lighting up the professional stage, breaking records every night, all while quietly, or not so quietly, despising the very system you're forced to play within. The whispers have turned into a roar. Caitlin Clark is not just struggling with the Indiana Fever's offense, she reportedly loathes it, yearning for the freedom and strategic genius of her college mentor Lisa Bluder. This isn't just locker room drama. It's a seismic clash of philosophies that threatens to reshape the future of the league's most watched player, and perhaps the entire sport. You might think you know the story of Clark's WNBA journey, but the shocking truth of her discontent and what it reveals about professional coaching is far deeper and more explosive than you could possibly imagine.
I mean, what's going on here? And I'm sorry, but if Stephanie White's supposed to be this all-world coach, you're not going to show up to a game against the Phoenix Mercury with DeWanna Bonner playing on the other side after what she did to the Indiana Fever franchise, and you show up there and somehow the team is lifeless? Sophie Cunningham coming back to Phoenix and the team is lifeless? That is the coach.
The signs of Caitlin Clark's deep frustration with her team's direction have been building, like a storm on the horizon that observers finally can no longer ignore. Despite her unprecedented rookie records and drawing sold-out crowds, there's an underlying current of discontent flowing from the very heart of the Indiana Fever. Clark herself has openly hinted at her struggles with the team's stagnant offensive schemes, describing a bewildering scenario where players often seem unsure of where to move, where to cut, or how to truly contribute within the system. This fundamental lack of clarity, she suggests, directly contributes to her own turnover numbers, turning what should be fluid, intuitive plays into clunky, forced sequences. The most telling and perhaps most heartbreaking revelation: her profound longing for the guiding hand of Lisa Bluder, her college coach, who seemingly understood her basketball language better than anyone. It's a bold, almost unthinkable admission for a rookie, casually wishing for her old coach to swoop in like it's a basketball fairy tale while actively playing for another. This isn't just about adjusting to the pros, it's about a fundamental mismatch in basketball ideology, a rift that appears far deeper than a simple rookie learning curve. And what happens when a team's brightest star loses faith in its very foundation?
Sums up why I can't stand Stephanie White as a basketball coach for Caitlin Clark. I don't think that Stephanie White is a bad coach. Don't get it twisted. She's not a bad coach at all. I just don't think she's the right coach for Caitlin Clark. So let's take a listen to this right here. This was on the podcast with Super.
But I think that's even been something me and Steph have always talk about when we go and watch film, and even that New York game where I played really, really well. Obviously scored a lot of points. I think I had 9 assists or 10 assists that game.
She was a rebound and assist off a 32-point triple-double. And is the only reason her team's in the game.
The core of this escalating tension lies squarely with Stephanie White's offensive philosophy, a system that, if we're being brutally honest, feels less like a dynamic professional basketball strategy and more like a never-ending, utterly frustrating homeowners association meeting. Imagine being told exactly what color your mailbox can be, even down to the precise shade of beige. That's the perceived rigidity of White's approach. Rules everywhere, creativity nowhere. The sets are described as maddeningly rigid, the ball movement painfully cautious, a basketball equivalent of driving 35 miles per hour in the fast lane with your hazard lights on. Sure, you might avoid a minor fender bender, but you're also ensuring absolutely nobody has any fun, and certainly not the fans who've come to see explosive, captivating play. This isn't just about avoiding mistakes, it's about stifling the very essence of what makes a player like Clark extraordinary, her dazzling unpredictability. You want defenses to live in constant fear that she might pull up from the logo, thread an impossible pass through a needle, or completely shatter the rhythm of a game with an unexpected move. But you simply don't get that by playing within a system that treats innovation and spontaneous brilliance like a technical foul. It's almost ironic. The goal seems to be to make Clark play their way, even if it means slowly dimming the very spark that made her a household name long before she even touched a professional court.
Man, it's just going to be interesting to see her come back and see this team fully go full circle around their set leader, and I'm still banking on it being Caitlin Clark. Without Caitlin Clark, they had 19 in the one game and 16 in their previous game without CC even playing.
And if the restrictive offense wasn't enough, the perceived disparity in how players are managed under Stephanie White's system adds another layer to this simmering controversy, particularly when it comes to the dreaded turnover. Imagine this: a superstar rookie, electrifying audiences and practically carrying her team on her back, makes a couple of mistakes in a high-stakes fourth quarter. What happens? Boom! Caitlin Clark finds herself benched, sidelined like a naughty child in timeout, left to watch the rest of the game unfold. She was visibly upset, her frustration etched across her face for all the world to see. No smiles, avoiding cameras, a clear sign of a profound internal struggle. But here's the kicker. At the very same time, other players on the floor are reportedly turning the ball over like it's a gift basket giveaway, seemingly immune to the same swift, punitive consequences. This glaring double standard fuels the accusations of veteran preference, a deeply rooted issue in the WNBA where longevity often seems to trump merit. It suggests that if you've been around longer than a rookie, you could trip over your own shoelaces, miss 3 open layups, and accidentally pass the ball to the mascot, yet still remain firmly in the game. A rookie, however, commits one flashy turnover while trying to make a game-changing play, and suddenly they're relegated to a folding chair. This isn't about fostering growth, it's about a baffling, inconsistent application of rules that risks chipping away at a player's confidence, especially one whose entire game is built on audacious risk-taking.
My precious Cece, she was upset. She didn't say nothing, no smiling, walked off, not looking at no cameras. I'm talking about, you can tell it's all on her face. She got it in her mind. But look, I need y'all to understand. That was so embarrassing and pathetic, and the teamwork was not there. But I remember Jordan had got hurt his second year. He didn't come back until playoffs, and that playoff series was legendary. He scored 63 points in one game, but he still lost, though.
Now, let's cast our minds back to the college hardwood, to the very foundation of Caitlin Clark's unparalleled success, her time under Lisa Bluder at Iowa. This wasn't just coaching, it was an artistic collaboration. From Clark's freshman year, Bluder practically tossed her the keys to a Ferrari and said, "Go drive, don't crash." And what did Clark do? She didn't just drive. She took that thing off-road, hit 90 in a 40 zone, and still made it look like a highlight reel. Bluder understood the assignment. Don't take away a player's freedom just because the last gamble didn't work. You double down. You encourage the next daring move, because that's where the dagger often comes from. Iowa's system was simple yet revolutionary. 5 shooters on the floor, incredible floor spacing, a true post player who rarely missed, and an unwavering belief in high-risk, high-reward plays. Bluder's practices were meticulously intentional, ensuring every player knew their role, knew where to be, and how to maximize their unique talents within a fluid, aggressive offense. This environment fostered a confidence in Clark that was almost legendary. Bluder never freaked out if Clark threw a risky pass or pulled up from the parking lot. She understood that those very moments, those audacious gambles, were the reward, the essence of show basketball. This blueprint, this profound trust and understanding between player and coach, created the phenomenon we know as Caitlin Clark, and it stands in stark, almost painful contrast to the rigid confines she now faces.
The Stephanie White offense compared to what she was doing at Iowa when she took over the world. Let's take a look.
At the college, it was very similar. All I would attack, we're known to have 5 shooters on the floor at all time. We played with really good floor spacing, and at Iowa it was the same way. 4 people were on the floor that could shoot at the same time. Then obviously we usually played with a true post, but they rarely missed too. Mon never missed. Hannah Stolke was tremendous when I was there too. And even our backup post players, I always think about how Coach Bluder ran practices and things. And I'm very fortunate looking back and now going to watch other colleges' practices and things like that. she really like was so intentional about like making sure everyone was on the same.
This profound philosophical divide between Clark's natural game and her current system points to a broader, more troubling issue plaguing the WNBA, an ongoing battle between show basketball and safe basketball. The league, it seems, has become obsessed with a strategy best described as don't make a mistake. This isn't just about avoiding turnovers. It's about avoiding anything that might be remotely embarrassing. But let's be brutally honest. You can't win games or, more importantly, win fans if your primary strategy is merely try not to embarrass yourself. That's not offense. That's hostage negotiations with a shot clock, a suffocating approach that drains the joy and excitement from the game. Lisa Bluder never coached like that. She knew that fans don't buy tickets, subscribe to streaming services, or sit up in their seats to watch a team play it safe. They come to witness jaw-dropping moments, plays that get replayed for years, the kind of electricity that only high-risk, high-reward basketball can deliver. When players are afraid to take risks because risks equal bench time, their creativity is muzzled, their confidence chipped away. The current system, especially the one Clark finds herself in, is busy killing creativity in exchange for a brand of basketball that's about as exciting as watching paint dry in slow motion. This isn't just a strategic choice, it's an existential crisis for a league desperate for growth and widespread engagement.
In over 10 years, and Caitlin Clark has something to do with that, man. They was 8-5 with Caitlin. At the end of the day, no matter how many games they win, they lost more games without Caitlin Clark playing. Like, so everybody argument that Caitlin Clark is the Achilles heel, Caitlin Clark is this and that, your argument is obsolete, bro. They will forever have that notion on there, that blemish on there. Now, if they would have won more games, lost less, then you might have had something.
The ripple effect of this coaching mismatch and stifling system extends far beyond Caitlin Clark's individual performance, seeping into the very morale and identity of the entire Indiana Fever roster. The team, often described as lifeless in crucial matchups. Remember that devastating defeat against the Phoenix Mercury, where Diana Taurasi and Sophie Cunningham ran rampant against a seemingly unresponsive Fever squad? Appears to lack a cohesive, clearly defined identity. And the underlying issue, many argue, is a fundamental confusion about roles. Lisa Bluder, Clark often points out, always made sure people knew what they were going to do. Everybody knew their role. This clarity is crucial for team success, allowing players to execute without hesitation, trusting their teammates to be in the right place. But on the Fever, there seems to be a frustrating lack of this understanding. Imagine a teammate, fresh off signing with Clark, openly stating her ambition to win MVP. A red flag, indeed, if that ambition overrides understanding her specific contribution within the team's broader goals. This kind of individualistic pursuit, without a clear, shared vision from the coaching staff, can lead to a disjointed, ineffective team where the teamwork simply isn't there. When players don't know and understand their roles, chaos ensues and the team's potential, no matter how talented the roster, remains frustratingly unrealized.
Still lost though, but at the end of the day, he fought, and you could tell that he missed being away from the game. So I can see my precious CC coming back doing her thing for the playoffs. I just want her to be 100% healthy at the end of the day. If Stephanie White gonna keep jeopardizing.
One of the most peculiar narratives surrounding Caitlin Clark is the idea of protecting her, as if she were a fragile vase teetering on a wobbly shelf. Protect her from what, exactly? The very basketball court she dominates? This isn't some porcelain doll we're talking about. This is the same player who routinely walked into hostile enemy arenas in college, dropped 40 points, and coolly strolled out while the entire crowd booed because she had single-handedly ruined their night. Yet, under the current coaching philosophy, protecting Clark seems to translate into benching her for daring to be exciting, for taking a calculated risk that doesn't immediately pay off. This approach, ironically, does the opposite of protecting her. It muzzles her. It chips away at her confidence. It tells a player who sees plays developing 3 seconds before anyone else that her unique vision is somehow unwelcome. Lisa Bluder, her college coach, knew this profoundly. She didn't build confidence by yanking a player for every imperfection. She built it by letting them figure it out in real time, by giving them the freedom to experiment and adapt, even if it meant the occasional ugly possession. That's how high IQ players learn on the fly. But if you bench them, if you tell them not to try anything new, you're not teaching. You're simply stifling, and in Clark's case, dimming the very spark that made her a global phenomenon.
Indiana Fever fans, so let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100 like a being frank. You hear me? So let me ask y'all again. Is Stephanie White a good coach? A great coach? I'm waiting. No, she not. Not even close. If anything, she puts a star in the offense. She's sucking the life out of the team, out of the franchise. And Kelly Krostoff, whatever her name is, Lynn Dunn, you hear me? They all need to go.
This isn't just a Caitlin Clark problem, or even just an Indiana Fever problem. It's a symptom of a much larger league-wide issue, a concerning shortage of genuine basketball IQ that leads the game, rather than simply follows it. While some of the most brilliant minds in the sport are still thriving at the college level, running circles around professional coaches with less talent but infinitely more creativity, the WNBA often seems stuck in a traditional, cautious mindset. Imagine if Lisa Bluder, with her progressive, player-centric philosophy, were dropped into the WNBA tomorrow. Many believe she'd have a team scoring well over 100 points a night without breaking a sweat, simply by unleashing her players' natural abilities. Meanwhile, the current system seems content to kill creativity in exchange for what it deems safe basketball, a product about as exciting as watching paint dry in slow motion. There are players in this league, it's been observed, who have seemingly mastered the art of looking busy while doing absolutely nothing productive on the floor. These cardio kings and queens, because they don't rock the boat or deviate from the script, remain inexplicably safe. Yet, Clark takes one gamble too many, one audacious shot or risky pass, and she's relegated to a front row seat. This stark contrast highlights a critical chasm in coaching philosophy that hinders the league's overall product and its potential to capture a wider audience.
Stephanie White, Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White, remains fully confident in her team following Thursday's deflating loss. The veteran coach sent a clear message. It was a 35-point ass drubbing. It was deliverance and Ned Beatty. Anybody seen that? Squeal like a pig? Yeah. The Phoenix Mercury bleeped the shit out of the Indiana Fever last.
Let's decisively debunk the utterly obsolete argument that Caitlin Clark, despite all her fanfare, is somehow an Achilles heel or a hindrance to her team's success. This narrative, often peddled by those who fail to grasp her profound impact, simply crumbles under scrutiny. The very notion that the team was afloat or even played well when Clark was out injured is a blemish on the record of anyone claiming it. Look at the numbers. When Clark was out, the Fever lost more games. They struggled offensively, putting up abysmal point totals. 19 points in one game, 16 in another, without her electrifying presence. These figures are undeniable proof that the argument about her being a liability is simply obsolete, a desperate attempt to deflect from the true issues. When Clark is on the court, she's not just scoring, she's orchestrating. Every possession feels like something genuinely exciting could happen. A deep three, an impossible threat of a pass, a steal turned into a fast break. That inherent unpredictability keeps defenses guessing and fans absolutely hooked. The minute you strip that away, you don't just change her style, you inadvertently diminish the team's overall dynamism. The truth is, the Indiana Fever, no matter how many games they manage to win, have consistently lost more games without Caitlin Clark playing. Her value is, and always has been, indispensable.
In the post-game press conference, Caitlin Clark Stephanie White made sure to give out about Caitlin Clark not passing the ball to Dantas. Like, we've seen Damiris Dantas play. She can't shoot. Why would Caitlin Clark pass the ball on an all-time heater to Dantas?
This last game this year. Mm-hmm. I started the fourth quarter off with like 3 turnovers in a row or 2 turnovers in a row, and Steph yanked me, and she was like this is like a learning moment. Like, you got to be able to, like, yes, like maybe it could have been there, like maybe you could have thrown a little bit better of a pass, maybe they could have caught it, but like, do we need that in this moment?
The solution to this mounting crisis, both for the Indiana Fever and for the WNBA at large, is glaringly obvious. Bring in coaches who coach to their players, not just rigidly to their playbooks. The league needs to unleash Caitlin Clark. Let her run. Let her experiment, and yes, let her make mistakes. Because here's the undeniable truth. The WNBA doesn't need more safe possessions. It desperately needs more jaw-dropping ones. And you simply don't get that without embracing a little chaos, a little high-stakes unpredictability. No one is buying tickets, tuning into broadcasts, or scrolling through highlights to see a team play it safe, to watch a strategy with all the spontaneity of a DMV line. They are paying to witness the next big moment, the one that gets replayed for years and dominates sports conversations. Yet, astonishingly, the league's most capable creator, the very player who redefined what was possible from midcourt, is spending far too much time watching from the sidelines when she should be actively creating those indelible moments. The irony of it all is that if you allow Clark to play through her mistakes, if you let her adapt and learn on the fly, the hallmark of a true high IQ player, she probably cleans them up faster. You're not teaching her by benching her, you're just telling her not to try.
Lisa Bluder always made sure people knew what they were going to do, aka she made sure people knew their role. Everybody knew their role, and that is the problem with the Indiana Fever and the bullcrap that Caitlin Clark deals with now. We got Natasha Howard coming in talking about she wanted to win MVP. Red flag. Red flag. We got Caitlin Clark, and you're talking about joining this team and winning MVP. She didn't know her role. Didn't know her role. That is the difference. We got a bunch of people on this team that do not know and understand their role.
Guys, today, Stephanie White has a clear conundrum on her hands, and she needs to figure out a solution to this problem before it's too little, too late. When Caitlin Clark was out with injury, Natasha Howard played well. Natasha Howard played well enough that kept us afloat along with Ari McDonald, along with Kelsey Mitchell, but Natasha Howard wasn't nearly as much of a hinder to the offense with Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA currently holds a golden ticket in Caitlin Clark, a transcendent talent who has single-handedly injected unprecedented viewership and excitement into the league. But if rigid systems, like the one reportedly stifling her in Indiana, continue to clip her wings, they risk turning that golden ticket into nothing more than a discarded receipt. And receipts, as we all know, don't sell out arenas or ignite passionate fan bases. The ultimate question facing the Indiana Fever and the WNBA is stark. Will they embrace the Lisa Bluder energy, the philosophy of empowering stars, encouraging audacious play, and understanding that turnovers are sometimes the price of unparalleled creativity, or will they persist in their cautious, predictable approach? The league's future, its ability to truly captivate and grow its audience, hangs in the balance. If the only thing more predictable than the offense is Caitlin Clark ending up on the bench for daring to be exciting, then don't be shocked when the league loses the very thing it needs most: players who compel you to watch, who make you sit up, not scroll past. The time for change isn't coming. It's here. The league must decide if it wants to be known for groundbreaking spectacle or simply for playing it safe, because only one of those will ensure its enduring legacy.